The hypocrisy is like off the charts. Joining me right now, Tennessee Republican Congressman and former emergency room doctor, Mark Green. Congressman Green, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Trish.
So hypocrisy, I mean, on the one hand, before he had any issue, it was very easy to say, yeah, everybody should release their medical records, period. And then as soon as he gets sick, no, I don't want to release any medical records. You should just take my doctor's word for it. Now, I'm not here to pressure anybody into, releasing medical records. I do believe in some sense of privacy, but I guess what bugs me about all of this, Congressman, is that there's hypocrisy yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hypocrisy both of him contradicting himself and then the media to ask questions about President Trump. I mean, the guy doesn't even drink alcohol and they're worried about some kind of an addiction. It's ridiculous. The double standard that they have for Republicans, and it's just crazy. It's ridiculous.
But, it's not just the media. Nancy Pelosi is putting this out there, too, because she spoke on Friday. I believe it was Friday. I'll let the team correct me if I'm wrong. And she suggested that perhaps the president was on a sedative of some sort when he was giving the State of the Union. Forgive me, it was Thursday. Thank you. I got a good team. Thursday, she was saying this. He was on a sedative. And I thought, wow. I mean, that's a wild accusation to make. And yet the media was totally silent. Nobody, other than us, said, hey, that's kind of a pretty outrageous thing to say. So there's a theme going on here.
It's not even outrageous, Trish. I mean, I'm getting a pit in the bottom of my stomach even thinking that someone would say something like that, especially, when you're in a glass house, you don't throw stones. They clearly don't want the Republican physicians in the room being critical of them when they get up and give a speech and start talking about what we are observing. This is crazy. We don't need to be having this conversation anyway. Let's talk about Bernie Sanders' health care plan. That's right. Yeah. No, you're right. That's where they're taking it.
No, they're low blows, and it's not right. But, they might have been better served to have followed their own instincts earlier on. I remember a time when Nancy Pelosi, Congressman, said there was going to be no impeachment unless it was a bipartisan effort. But what do you know? AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the woman from Massachusetts, they're all coming out of the woodwork. They're putting a tremendous amount of pressure on sort of the party elites, right? The socialists trying to affect the party elites who at least at one point had some vein of capitalism going through their blood. And they kowtow. They completely fold to the squad.
Well, they've taken over.
I'm like, where are the adults?
Yeah, they've taken over, and you've been talking on your show the surprise that a socialist from Vermont is probably going to win New Hampshire. I've been watching it. That just tells you where the state of the Democrat Party is right now. They're for socialism. In fact, AOC made a comment the other day that she's for universal rent control. Now, that's not even socialist. That's straight out of Karl Marx. Where they're going, the rest of the country is not going. But Bernie Sanders is probably going to be their guy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, given the momentum, and by the way, he should have won Iowa, I do believe.
Yeah, he won Iowa, yeah.
Well, nobody, AP won't call it right now. And Bernie's asking for some recanvassing himself. And, Buttigieg, that whole thing, to me anyway, strikes me as totally bizarre, this guy out of nowhere. And by the way, even if it's not just bizarre, Congressman Green, does nobody in the DNC say, hey, maybe there's a conflict of interest here? Maybe the app that's counting the votes can't be, run by the campaign's senior advisor's wife?
Yes, and you've done a fantastic job. I've been watching your reporting on this. I just wish the rest of the media would pick up on it. Unfortunately, they're aligned with the left, so they're not going to. Wow.
Well, that's a sad state. There used to be a time when I think media wanted to be fair, but those days are kind of gone. Congressman Green, really good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks. Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
Coming up next.